Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 46 now. Barry's here with you in the studio at St. Tides, and welcome to a sunny Monday morning here, and thanks for joining us, and it's the start of another week here. And again, the days are getting longer, which tells us that daylight saving is on the way. And joining me now in the studio, here's Alex Taylor. Good morning to you. Welcome to episode 46 this morning.
Good morning, Barry. Thank you for having me on the show. How are you?
Very well. Well, today we're not going to do a recap of last week. So let's get straight into it. I'd like to tell you about the history of the intros and outros, first of all, before we get stuck into the barbecue cookbook, okay, and the safety of barbecues. Now, the intros and outros to this program, well, you know, we've done about 5 intros and outros so far, and just telling you what they are. The first one was Wheel of Fortune. The second one followed up with Richmond Hill with some credits. And the third one was Chopper Squad with the helicopter in, and Mel North, who is no longer with us, and the 2 Channel 9 pieces. And the fifth one was one with the Hawkesbury River Bridge, and the outro was one with the car coming out of the Brisbane tunnel. Here's Alex now to open the show with the history of the intros and outros. And we're constructing a 6th one, which we're putting together. Here's Alex now to open episode 46 with that.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, so we've had a lot of fun making these intros and outros, and they've made your show look really professional, and it's good to have credits in there, and they've been kind of funny sometimes too, and sometimes serious. I think I have trouble choosing which one is my favourite one. Do you have a favourite so far?
Well, I think the Chopper Squad one.
Yeah, the Chopper Squad one was fantastic, wasn't it? It was a really good one, and it was funny to have Mel, the manager at the time of St Ives Kaz. We shot a little piece with her in there, a little scene with her in there as well, and that was she was a good sport about that, and it was good fun, wasn't it?
And the PGR and G logos.
Yep, that's right.
We did them.
Yep. So we sort of customised the some of the footage and added some television ratings. What was it? What is it called? Parental ratings or
parental guidance recommended.
Yeah.
And then the G
for general viewing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. And yeah, so do you want to tell viewers about what the new one will be?
Now, the new one will be, now, if you've seen the Young Doctors, guys, okay, I don't want to gore you, but I'm dressed in a doctor's uniform and wearing a mask, as you see in the opening credits of the Young Doctors. And the outro will be the same, but with different credits. So there we go with the intros and outros. They've come a long way. And now it is time to move on to the next segment. Well, this morning on the show, we're going to continue with barbecues. And with the warmer weather coming up, the sensational barbecues step by step. And you can see it on your screen there. Okay, look at that lovely food on that plate there. Now, last week, Gus and I brought to you some mouth-watering recipes, and this week we're going to talk about barbecue techniques, or well, barbecue basics. Okay, so here's Alex to tell you about the barbecue basics and the types of barbecues.
All right, thanks, mate. Yeah, so the book is sensational. Lots of very helpful information in sensational barbecues, including a section called, as you say, Barbecue Basics. And then within Barbecue Basics, there's a section on cooking techniques. And the two main cooking techniques are direct cooking or smoking, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if I've ever smoked anything in a barbecue.
So here's my second person. Good morning, Gus.
Good morning, Mr. Barry. Good morning, Alec. Great to be back on the show.
So we're going to just take a break and pause and have a cup of tea. So stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. Before we read this week's recipe, let's go over some barbecue basics. So the types of barbecues are, you can see a picture of a barbecue on a tray with wheels. Okay, here's Alex to tell you about it.
Okay, the one which was on a tray with wheels.
And then I've got the barbecue on the tray with wheels. Here's Alex to tell you about it.
Righto, so that one is called a kettle barbecue. It's a compact barbecue, but can still cook a whole bunch of different things. And then there's a different type of barbecue called a gas or electric barbecue. And they're not the round ones. They tend to be the rectangular barbecues, like in the bottom of this picture down here.
So you can see there that's got a gas bottle on the side. So like we said last week, there are all different types of barbecues. Now, like I said last week on the show, don't just buy a cheap, crappy, nasty barbecue that's gonna blow up. Here's Gus now.
That's exactly right. You don't want to just get the cheap, nasty stuff because A, it might blow up and, blowing up's never good. But also B, I've often found in my experience that it doesn't cook the meat as well. It's, sometimes there's a little bit too much smoke. It's not efficient cooking, and you actually sometimes can get a bit of a weird taste on your barbecue. So you don't want to do that.
So that is a Weber barbecue there.
The kettle one.
The kettle barbecue.
Yeah.
So you can cook your roast on there. You can see a lovely roast there. And look at that.
Up here.
Now, I know it's 11 o'clock. someone's mouth is celebrating.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You getting hungry?
And we're also going to talk about how people like their steak. So we'll just cut to another shot with that. Okay,
Is that in here too? Is that in the book too? Oh, here we go.
yep,
So
so
there it is.
let's tell you what, so there's images of cooked steak, so let's just cut to another shot with that. Now, with the steak, rare, medium, or well done. Now, here are a couple of images of some steaks, okay? You can see some steaks are pink in the middle, am I right, Alec?
Yep, absolutely. So here's the rare one, and you can see it's pink through the middle there. And here's the medium one, still slightly pink, just a little bit pink. And here's the well done one, which has no pink in it at all.
So how you cook your steak, okay, it's totally up to you. I'm not gonna, we're not gonna go on all morning about how to cook the steak because we're showing you here on the show. And let's talk about some of the sauces and marinades.
All right.
So
Sauces.
let's go with the sauces.
Yep.
Now, the first one you see here is Hordash cream, okay?
I think it's pronounced horseradish.
Horseradish.
Yeah.
And the second one is chili barbecue sauce,
Yep.
okay? So,
So this is the horseradish down here, and
Yep.
this is the chili barbecue.
and one up here is tartare sauce, okay? Now, tartare sauce, guys, is usually served with seafood or fish. Now, if you've ever bought fish and chips from a fish and chip shop, they normally sell sauces for about 20 or 30 cents, depending on where you go. But look at all those lovely sauces there. Look at that.
Lots of different sauces.
And here's a rule, barbecue lovers out there. If you're gonna marinate your sausages or your chicken or your lamb or whatever, guys, marinate it overnight to allow the flavors to develop. Here's Gus.
That's exactly right. You know, there's some amazing things you can do with all those different meats with some marinades, but yeah, it does take a little while. They say in a pinch you can do it in sort of 2 to 3 hours, but if you want the best sort of flavour, put it in overnight and give it all that time to really soak into the meat and integrate together.
So, you may have heard of honey soy chicken and lamb and all that, but have you heard of honey soy sausages? Well, I have a recipe for you, which we're going to share on the show, but before we do that, let's tell you how to make one of those delicious sauces we talked about.
All right. Which one would you like to talk about, Barry? Lemon and wine, teriyaki, spiced yogurt, apricot and onion.
That's the marinades.
Oh, I beg your pardon. You wanted to talk about sauces?
Now, first up, let's talk about the tomato sauce, okay? So what you do here, guys, heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil, okay? And 20 grams of butter in a small pan. Add 1 small finely chopped onion, 1 crushed garlic clove, and 2 teaspoons of Italian mixed herbs. Cook for 2 to 3 minutes until onion is soft. Stir in 2 large chopped ripe tomatoes and 125 mils of half a cup of
Pureed.
pureed tomatoes, okay, and 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar. Cook for 3 to 4 minutes. Remove from the heat. Process until smooth. Season with salt and pepper. Serve warm or cold with burgers, sausages, steak, or fish.
That's
Okay.
delicious.
Now, creamy mustard sauce is up next. Here's Alex to read you with.
Oh, thanks, mate. Creamy mustard sauce. Okay, so combine 2 tablespoons of whole egg mayonnaise, 80 mils of sour cream, 2 to 3 tablespoons of Dijon or whole grain mustard. Season with salt and pepper to taste. Mix well. And then it says add 1 tablespoon of your favorite fresh chopped herbs if desired. I think we desire it, mate. If sauce is too thick, add a little cream to achieve required consistency. Serve with beef or chicken. And is there a picture of it? There is, creamy mustard sauce. So up here is the creamy mustard sauce, and down here is the tomato sauce.
So, guys, we're gonna show you the burger recipe, but we're not gonna tell you how to make it.
Okay.
We'll just show you a picture of it there,
This is best ever burger with homemade barbecue sauce.
and there are the ingredients there. Okay, save us having to read out the recipe, and the next one is honey soy sausages.
Is that a recipe in here?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, there we go. This one, can we see? Oh,
And look
This
at
one up
that
here.
there.
honey soy sausages. Wow.
Okay.
Now
Nice.
look at that.
Those look pretty yummy. I'm not sure about the pineapple though.
Yeah, interesting.
Some people love that, right? Cooked pineapple. Do you like it on your pizzas?
So here you've got sausages in a pan, okay? And someone pouring the marinade over the sausages. Now, it is important to marinate meat overnight because this allows the flavors to develop. Here's Gus.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, time, the time together, it helps it to integrate, to develop it, and to really bring out all those flavors. If you just pour it over as you're cooking, maybe you get a couple hints of it, but really it just sort of, melts away a little bit. But if you leave it overnight, then they'll properly develop, and the flavors are beautiful.
So we brought you a couple of recipes last week and we told you about them. So, now we're going to talk about how important it is to do a COVID test. For those of you that have just tuned in. Now, here is a COVID testing kit. Do you remember a couple of months back, we showed you how to do a COVID test? Well, now, we're going to show you how to do one on the show. Here's Gaps.
Yeah, so there's, as Barry has here, he's got the COVID test, and on the back of it, it's got all the instructions and tells you all the different pieces and tells you exactly what to do. It's very helpful.
Okay, so I will just show you the back. Okay. And this is called Testy Labs, a COVID-19 urgent test cassette. So let's give you a demonstration on how it works. So Gus, would you like to do the honors?
On myself? Or on you?
On me.
Sure thing. Pass it over.
So we will pause that.
Yep.
So guys, this is the kit out of the box. Okay, you have one cassette, okay, like we demonstrated, and a liquid cap for the drops to go in, and of course the nozzle. Will I be right, Gus?
Yeah, well, and then everyone's favourite part, the nose swab. Can't forget that one, Barry.
Everyone's favourite, the nose swab.
So you want to do this now live? Give the people a show? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
All right.
So, just to give you viewers an idea of how to do a COVID test, guys, we thought we'd bring it onto the show, I should say, so that you guys know what to do if you are feeling COVID symptoms. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that's right. That's very helpful, Barry. So good on you to show people how to take a test and kind of normalize it, right? So it's not a big deal. Everybody does them. And, you know, they're a bit inconvenient, but if you're feeling sick, it's a good idea, isn't it, always to do a test? And if you've got COVID, then you can isolate and stay away from everybody else.
So while we're doing the COVID test, I'd like to talk about now how to plan that all-important trip in the bush. Now, do you remember 2 years ago we did a segment on staying safe in the bush and being prepared in the bush? Yep. Well, we're going to tell you briefly about that after we do the COVID test. So here we go.
All right. So I've got everything set up off camera on the table, but on camera you'll see you've got your nose swab.
And for those of you that don't like a swab, now could be the perfect time for you to go and prepare your midday lunch.
That is true. You want to do that before watching this because we're getting right up in there. So,
Okay, so we'll pause that now. So now we've done the gross stuff. Okay, I hope that you are enjoying your cup of tea. Now, what happens here? Okay, the drops will go into the cassette.
Yeah, so I've got the drops, where are we here? The drops I put into, sorry Barry, the cassette, and then I've got my swab, and I'm mixing it all in to make sure it's all in there. It says you do it for 10 seconds, give it a good swab in there. And then,
And what you see there is about to go into the cassette, okay?
and then you close your lid, you've got the cartridge, and 3 drops.
1,
1,
2,
2,
and 3.
3. And then it's the waiting game. 10 minutes of waiting, and
So while we're waiting for the line to come up, let's talk about safety in the bush, okay? And being prepared now. One long move in the bush, and I hate to tell you this, guys, you are dead. D-E-A-D. Now, a lot of people are not buried properly because they turn into, their bones are scattered all over the ground. And this is because they haven't been protected properly. Here's Alec.
Wow, Barry, that's pretty intense, mate. So you're talking about people who go out into the bush and they're not prepared, and they can actually die if they're not ready, if they get stuck out there.
Yes, because as I was watching a documentary on Malcolm Douglas, okay, he was telling people out there that in one wrong move, again, I hate to be morbid, but you will lose your life.
And what were the moves that he was saying you needed to do to prepare?
Well, he wasn't actually saying, but he was actually saying what could happen
Right,
if you're not prepared.
I know.
So, guys, it is really important to know what you're doing, plan the trip, okay, have a couple of jerry cans ready for backup fuel and that, because there could be no fuel for the next 500 kilometers. So have spare tires. Make sure your batteries are good. Make sure your tires are good. Make sure you've got good communication with the other drivers. Here's Alec.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Lots of all good pieces of advice. I think probably also tell people where you're going. So, share your plans with somebody else and say, I'm going to be in such and such town by the following date. And so people can know if you're missing, if you haven't checked in. And yeah, lots of spare food and fuel and water and all of those
And
kinds of
make
things.
sure you've got all your tools ready to repair your car. Now, in a documentary that I mentioned, okay, Survival with Jack Absalom. Now, this guy couldn't start his car because you know why? Because the fuel didn't go through to the carburetor, and there was paint, water, and petrol, and it took a while for that fuel filter to block up, because you have to be really careful, because you have to know what you're doing and make sure that you do not mix paint, water, and petrol, because it will not go through to the carburetor. Here's Alex.
Yeah, mate. So you're talking about making sure that your fuel stays pure and uncontaminated. You don't want extra water or paint or any other chemicals in your fuel, do you? Because that'll clog up your engine and stop it from working.
And you know, you've got to have spare water as well, because the wife and child, okay, were left out in the bush, okay, lying down with a broken down station wagon. Now this has got to be ridiculous. Don't just come out with your personal luggage. You have to be prepared. Here's gas.
That's exactly right. If you're taking a trip out into the bush, out into the desert, out into anything, you've got to make sure you're prepared for all circumstances. And even if you think, we'll be fine, I'm only going, a couple hundred Ks, you never know what might happen.
Because, your battery might go flat halfway. Okay, you could have a hole in your disc. Okay, you have to be responsible, guys. Make sure that you know what you're doing. Okay, make sure you've got enough petrol to get you from A to B. Here's gas.
Yeah, that's right. I remember I did a trip across Western Australia a few years back, and at one of the little towns we pulled into, it had a sign like that said, last petrol for the next 400 kilometers or something crazy like that. So we had to make sure we filled up, and we always had a jerry can with us, and we didn't want to get caught out.
And if you can't repair your car, take all the tires off, okay? Burn a couple of tires and then tubes to send out smoke. Here's gas.
That's a great thought, Barry. I'd never actually heard of that one. Yeah, if you are stuck and you're in the middle of nowhere and you've got no way out, then yeah, burning rubber does create a lot of smoke, and it could signal that that's where you are.
Because remember, out in the bush, guys, there are no friendly service stations or mechanics, and you have to be your own food supply too. So make sure that you've got enough food and water and perishables to last you the whole trip. And make sure you've got a first aid kit in the car too. Have one made up to suit yourself. Here's Alec.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. That's a good idea and good advice. Anytime you go on a holiday, it's a good idea to take some first aid gear, and particularly if you're going to go out into the bush, and something maybe specific for you as well. So if you have allergies, take some antihistamines, that kind of thing. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And also, guys, take some medicine with you. I'm gonna bring my medicine to show you. I think it's in the cabinet. So I will pause that. So always have a medicine with you as well if you cannot get to a doctor or hospital. So, guys, be responsible, be an adult, don't leave it until the last minute. Make sure you write a list, okay, because this is very important that you know what you're doing sit down with the family, have a map of where you're going, which route you're going to take to the destination, and how long it is going to take. Because, and also work out how long you're going to be away for. Here's Alec.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. That's lots of good advice for planning your trip. So figuring out where you're going to go, having good maps, making sure you know how long it's going to take, and then I guess letting other people know, right? So that other people know when they need to raise the alarm if you haven't made it to somewhere.
And always consider your health as well before you plan the trip. And that's where we'd like to end today's show. Because considering the family's health guide is really important, because like if someone is sick, like if they've got COVID or whatever, then you can't go. Here's Alec now.
Yeah, that's right. So you want to stay healthy. And yeah, if you've got COVID, you really shouldn't go away on holiday. So you'd be pretty unlucky if you did. And you want to stay healthy. And yeah, hopefully you won't get sick on your holiday.
So guys, we are out of time today on the show. Now here's the closing message. Well, we hope that you've enjoyed episode 46 and the hilarious opening for our new intro coming up very soon, and the outro. And we'd like to say a huge thank you to you for tuning in today and listening and watching and taking on board all the advice we've given to you. So, guys, we'd like to say a really big thank you, and soon it will be episode 50. Wow, what an achievement. Here's Gus.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Barry. I'm so glad that I've been able to jump on this this journey and have all these great chats and explore these things, and I can't wait for episode 50 and many, many more after that.
And guys, that really is it. But before we close the show, the message that I'd like to close it with, and that is not calling 000 unnecessarily, because with the smoke haze around today and for the rest of the week, basically, please be thoughtful for those firefighters that are going around out there fighting fires. So please, guys, think is your urgency and emergency before you dial those 3 zeros. Here is Alec now for his closing message on this.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, that's always a good piece of advice to share. Only use 000 in an emergency. And this week we've got all of those hazard reduction burns happening. So air quality is down. We need to let all the emergency people get on with their jobs and not bother them.
So if you haven't got an emergency, guys, please do not be an absolute fool, because the wrong call that you make could cost me their life or anyone else in our census. So please, 000, save it for saving lives. Go to your local doctor, take some Panadol, cough medicine, etc. Well, that's just about all we've got time for this week. Join us on episode 47 next Monday as we bring to you more on the spring series and more about our album. So we cannot wait to bring it to you. And Alec, thank you so much for coming on the show as always.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks for having me.
And Gus, the same to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being with us today on episode 46. This has been a Barry Pitt for your production. This program is produced in accordance with Barry Pitt. This is Barry Pitt speaking. Have a good week, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.